You're watching The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales. Streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
2, 1.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to a wonderful Thursday lineup that we have here this evening. Hope you guys had a great weekend as well. We did. We had like a little 2-day show down in Temecula. Really nice country that's between here and Los Angeles and San Diego. But what I would have liked is to be able to watch and celebrate Batman Day, which was happening for 19 hours on The Experience. I hope you guys were able to catch that. If not, check out the videos that we have on The Experience on YouTube. We had some very exciting guests and very exciting things that happened on that show. And we're looking forward to tonight. We have our special guest today is Phillip Russert, who's been doing the Tragedy comic book series. He's up to 5 issues and running a Kickstarter, and we'll be taking a look at that. And we'll be welcoming back Christie Shin, the Demon Bitch. And we'll see where she stands with her Kickstarter as well. And maybe we can give everybody a bump in their campaigns. We're also looking forward to going into this weekend, which is not much happening, except unless you're in Portland. They've got Rose City Comic Con, and we want to give everybody a shout out over there to like Don Nguyen, Philip Jin, Dave Law, Justin Hunt too is going to be there. So if you guys are in that area, be sure to check them out. Give them a warm hug and a welcome up for us as well, and check out their books, especially that Ninja Witch from Justin Hunt. And so we'll be taking a little break right here, and we'll be right back. Hey, welcome everybody. Our special guest today is Mr. Phillip Russell. Philip, I'm blowing it here with so many Phillips. Okay, we have Phillip Russert here today, who's been doing Tragedy since 2019, I believe. Is that correct?
2021.
2021, and you've got 5 issues out in that period. Is that correct? And you've got a trade paperback campaign on Kickstarter that's running currently?
It's launching Tuesday, actually.
Oh, it launches on Tuesday. Okay.
Yeah, so a lot of big names attached, too.
Right. So yeah, nice. I saw a very impressive lineup that you have on that book. You've got Chris Bachalo, Bill Sinkovich, and David Mack. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that wow. He is not messing around, guys. Phillip has got a
nice Chuck Dixon intro.
What's that?
And a Chuck Dixon intro inside the book.
Yes, Chuck Dixon does an intro in there too. So, man, yeah. So this book is not. It's got a lot of fan favorites, a lot of people that we've known through the years and decades, actually, that are working on that book. And so, tell us a little bit what this book is about, what this series is about.
Well, the Netflix type pitch is if you took the Boondock Saints, Kill Bill, Big Trouble in Little China, and John Wick and mashed it all together and then added more, that's just touching the tip of the iceberg. But it's basically, I like to write about characters that we can relate to that are human. And it's an Irish assassin. Her life was taken from her. She's living a life she doesn't want to live. And she's in this vicious cycle that many of us have where she wants and needs the love and respect of someone she knows that she really shouldn't be chasing it from because she's never going to get it. And it's this cyclical thing with her adoptive father. And she does these, jobs for him because of that reason. And, it's like that struggle we have sometimes getting up every day and we just don't want to face the day. We want to curl up in the fetal position and say, I'm not doing it today, but our strength is that we get up and do it anyway. The difference with her is she's actually going and fighting for her life. She's dealing with metahumans and Asian mysticism and other assassins and mob bosses, and so it's got plenty of action as well as that exposition that you can really relate to.
Oh, okay, so is her character like a rich character, a poor character? Where is she coming from?
So her father was the head of the New York division of the Irish Mafia. It takes place in Hell's Kitchen because that's where the Irish Mafia in the 70s lived. They were called the Westies.
Mhm.
So I wanted to ground it in some reality. So there's no Daredevil reference, just so you know.
Right.
And he kept her away from that life, and they he would take her to the theater and things like that, and she became a ballerina. And you have to be young to start a ballet, so by the age of 16, she was a full-blown professional ballerina. Her father is killed, and the adoptive, his right-hand man and his wife can't have children, so they adopt her. The thing is, he's a sociopath, so he basically at 17 sends her away for 12 years to train to make her mold her into this elite assassin for him. So there's the dynamics, like I said, between her and the father, but also the mother, the adoptive mother who always wanted a child. She's kind of going with what the father wants. There's a lot of, family dynamics, relationship dynamics, but at the same time, she's lost and she's guarded and she's afraid. And how do a lot of people deal with fear? They put up walls or they lash out, and that's part of what she deals with, not letting anybody in, anybody close, and just basically, fighting those inner demons that she has while she's fighting the external forces that are presented in the book.
Wow. Okay.
What's the difference between I could never get this, a sociopath and a psychopath?
So a sociopath's tendencies are usually, these are the tendencies: manipulation and lying, gaslighting, accusing you of the things that they're actually doing to you. And the thing about a sociopath is they're very charming and believable because after a while they start to believe their own lies are true. A psychopath, like sociopaths do bad things on a mental and emotional level. A psychopath could be violent and want to kill you. But a psychopath will also have sociopathic tendencies. They're just a little more to the extreme as far as their threat level, physically. They don't have any moral conscience as far as serious harm to anyone. So.
Wow.
So where did she go for her training?
So for 2 years, she goes away to a military base, and she's trained by a retired colonel in firearms, explosives, grapple style fighting, boxing, etc. And then for the preceding 10 years, she goes away to a temple in parts unknown of China, and she trains with a master and learns martial arts. And it gets into some mysticism because they train her to focus her chi, which there's a ritual that the rare individuals go through, and it basically brings out latent abilities in people, and it's a very select few. There's only like 3 in the world that have ever done this ritual, because you can only do it when you're truly focused. Your chi is focused, and it melds with the energies of nature and life, and that natural balance brings out a latent talent that you've had and manifests in a certain way.
Okay.
Like there's a Chinese assassin who's not really a villain, but he is her antagonist. His name is Breath of the Dragon, and he has clairvoyance to where he can see, if he's in proximity of you, he can see your future 3 to 5 seconds. So he knows what you're going to do before you do it. So you can't beat this guy. You just can't. He knows what you're going to do. And I'm spoiling too much, but like he was a very astute student.
Okay.
So he always came to the conclusion on his own. Well, that's where he got the clairvoyance from when he went through the ritual.
All right. So how is this a character that you've been like thinking about doing for a long time, or is this something that just came up and you just decided that you're going to put this out?
So around December 2020, I don't know, out of nowhere, the character just popped in my head exactly how she is in the book.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, that's interesting. But I was always intimidated about writing. I didn't bother. I just moved on. I got severely ill in January 2021. I was bedridden for 6 weeks. I was on 4 liters of oxygen. I was hospitalized for a week. It was pretty bad. It was serious.
What was going on?
COVID, pneumonia. I had so many blood clots in my lungs that they couldn't even count them. One went to my heart, but it passed, so I didn't go into cardiac arrest.
Wow.
I had blood clots in my legs. I had lost 60 pounds in a month and severe muscle atrophy. It was bad. I couldn't breathe, and so laying there in bed, and the character appeared in my head again. And I was like, you know what? I'm just laying here. So what is there to be afraid of at this point? When you're facing life-threatening illness, who gives a crap about being intimidated by writing? So I literally just started writing issue 1, and in 9 hours it was done. I gave it to my wife, who is a very honest woman. Thank God. I don't want people who placate me. And she read it, and I sat there nervous, and she looked up and she goes, wow, it's actually really good. So I was like, okay, that's a good start. And I never looked back. I've written 27 scripts.
Have you had any writing experience before?
Nothing formal. Just, I was a good storyteller. I used to watch my good friends' children, and I would just sit down with the tent and the flashlight and make up stories. And I always made up superhero stories and stuff. So I was always good at making things up on the fly. Mm-hmm. So I can't say I've had formal writing experience, but, I was always telling stories in one fashion or the other.
So I'm kind of taking a guess that you've been probably reading comics for a long time.
Yeah, I'm 51, and I started at 9. I found Uncanny X-Men 115 on a spinner rack, and I never stopped.
Okay. Because I'm looking at the stack of action figures behind you, and you've got art pages on your wall. So you're like a serious collector. And you started close to like when I started. I started back at about 1973.
Yeah, but you're like 27, Mel.
Thank you. It comes from having a good woman behind me.
There you go.
Well, you know what?
What's that?
Stevie B said something funny.
Okay.
He said, "I wish I had that power when he came to
bidding."
Yes.
I know that would be that would
right?
be.
Phil, is that by any chance the character, the Breath of Dragon guy, fashioned after your wife because she seems to know always everything before you're gonna do?
Yeah. My wife, she just anticipates the worst and she knows I'm gonna do it. So.
Well, now that you mentioned bidding, Christie, what are you drawing?
Well, I kind of promised Philip drawing this thing.
Oh, we lost her.
Oh, did she freeze? Okay.
I think she froze.
She froze. Okay, so quickly, just to show the art that we got going. Okay, she'll come back on. Okay. So we got, for our people that are there, right, we got, Mog has this Arctic
nice.
Cat woman that she did. Okay.
Snow leopard.
Right.
Prince.
So
Beautiful.
we'll start the bidding on this at 50 if anybody wants that. And then we've got this one is an original character that Mog did. Okay.
Oh wow.
And that's colored.
That's beautiful.
And her name is called Red Scent. Okay. So the pitch behind that, and she's an assassin. Okay. So the pitch behind that, and her favorite perfume or whatever is called Red Scent. Okay.
No, but okay, never mind.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
so anyway, the thing is that she's around if you smell the red scent that she uses. Okay. But the thing is that once you smell it, you're pretty much dead.
Yeah. By the time you get the whiff, you're gone.
Yeah. If you get the whiff, you're pretty much dead. She's standing that close to you. Okay. But
That's
anyway,
cool.
So if anybody wants this, you can claim it. It'll be 150. This is, you can see it's 11 by 17, fully colored. Okay, so we got that going. Hopefully Christie will come back there. So Phil, for you, in when you were reading, what are your favorite titles to begin with?
Yeah.
Maybe it sounds cliche, but I was always a big fan of the Cockrum, Claremont, Byrne, Claremont run, and continued Claremont's 17 years, of course. But I am a huge John Byrne fan. I love John Byrne's Fantastic Four, Man of Steel. Chris Claremont wrote a more obscure book after he left X-Men for DC called Sovereign Seven, which I loved. It ended at like 40-something issues. It's a shame Chris Ivy was one of the artists. It was fantastic. I read everything like everybody, Avengers, all the Image stuff, Spider-Man, pretty much what everybody else read. But the biggest influence for me was Claremont. And I love Peter David. And funny thing is, Peter David, Howard Mackey, and Chuck Dixon tell me that my writing on tragedy is really good. And if you know, those are like three of my top favorite writers. So it was like dream come true for a little 9-year-old Phil. Because when at our age, we didn't have Kickstarters, we didn't have crowdfunding. The idea of making a comic book was, like this will never happen, And if it did, it was drawing on loose leaf and stapling it together. And look, I got a comic, So for this to happen, to be working with big names as well as, yes, Ron Lim and Dwayne Turner, for this to happen, to work with these people, and for these people that I've admired so long to tell me that I'm doing it right, it's like, wow, pinch me,
Wow, yeah, wow. Well, that's an amazing compliment there. But yeah, I was right in there with you. I was blown away. The first big impact collecting comics that just really blew me over is when I read John Size X-Men #1 off the racks, and I'm going, holy moly, this was like the team for me. I was reading Avengers, Fantastic Four, Justice League, all of that, and I liked it all. But man, when they came out with this team, right, and I still don't know why it rocked me so hard like that, compared to like what was going on, because I really enjoyed reading the other team books as well. But that team just had something. Then when John Byrne took over with the art that he was putting into that, that really okay. And the stories too. The stories were really, really fascinating and cool to me during that time. I'm also a big fan of Peter David. I used to love his article in the and he was a frequent writer in the CBG magazine. I don't know if you picked that up, but it was interesting to get all his insights through there. And that's how he started the one of his stories, which was he did like for fun. I think it was, what was it? It was called like the Death of the Avengers or something like that. And but they had showed like a picture of a room, and I think Hulk was the only one there, and he had all the accessories like the Thor's hammer. Things like that inside that room to show you that these guys were all dead already. But yeah, it was that was a interesting, fascinating time to be growing up and be able to have that kind of information coming in, because it was rare to get that kind of stuff. We didn't really have cons going that strong yet, like they do today. And living in Hawaii, it was even worse because there wasn't that much comic book shops. There wasn't that much guys collecting. There was so much less of everything. But
I know you go to a church basement. That was a convention, that was it.
Or a school room.
Yeah.
But 4 or 5 guys.
But it was funny because Walt Simonson would be sitting there, and you just go up to him. He wasn't like the legend celebrity he is now. You just walk up, hang out, talk to him. It was a little easier and more innocent at the time. But then at the same time, without the popularity, we wouldn't have a lot of what we have now without the girls. So you gotta, it's the give and take.
Yeah, you gotta weigh it out, So I go out there and I watch all the Marvel and DC movies and whatnot they put out, whether it's good or bad, because growing up and reading all that stuff, one of the things I would always like wish for is, God, I wish they had made a movie. I wish they did this. I wish, you wanted to see all that.
Well,
And
we
it's
were the
happening now,
generation
so I
that
don't want
had.
to take it for granted,
Well, we were the generation that had David Hasselhoff, Nick Fury, and Dolph Lundgren Punisher. So I mean, even the worst MCU movie right now is golden.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know when they told us back then that they were going to do a Fantastic Four movie and a Punisher movie.
The Roger
I was
Corman
drooling at the
Fantastic
chops,
Four.
And then they break us and they tell us we're not going to release it. I said, oh
Yeah.
man, and I'm going, I still want to see it. Show me what you got. Let me be the judge if it was like worth it or not. They definitely made the right decisions, and I was actually able to get copies of it on a very bad copy on a VHS tape. But I bought it anyway, and checked it out, and even though it wasn't really there, I still enjoyed it. Just to be able to see it.
Well, there's the enjoyment too for us in the sense that we never thought we'd see anything live action. So standard wise, it really isn't good. But the fact that we it was new and it was fresh and we got to see them live, we didn't know any better because we didn't know what technology was going to be later. So
Right.
It was enjoyable. And even now, there's the nostalgia factor. We, like the same reason why I love Godzilla movies. I mean, Godzilla's a rubber monster running around. But I love it. It's cheesy fun. It's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And you don't review Shawshank Redemption the same as you do Godzilla Raids Again. It just
No,
you don't. It's
no.
but you can the entertainment factor can be the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to race home to watch the Godzilla movies because they would play like around 3:00.
Yes, yes.
And we get out of school at 2:15, right? And I walked to school, so I had to run home just so that I could get to the, put my stuff away, get something to snack on, sit myself in front of the TV, and watch Godzilla.
And Gamera. They had Gamera on too.
And Gamera was on there as well.
War of the Gargantuas and all that stuff. And
All that
Thanksgiving
stuff
was awesome. Thanksgiving, they do Godzilla marathons and Mighty Joe Young and King Kong.
Oh yeah. All the monster stuff that we want to see, Yeah, and it was pretty. When you look at it now, the special effects are really, really boring stuff. Yeah, Christie is back. Okay.
Yeah, Christie.
Hey,
But,
It says it there on the script. If you would have had, I think Christie.
well, hang on. I'm actually going on. It now allowed me onto my thing. So let me leave here and.
okay. Well, okay.
Okay.
They
I
said
used
she
to
was drawing
enjoy
Mr.
watching,
Freeze before.
Let's see, what is it? Oh, Stevie was saying that if I should have left Christie here at our place, so that way she wouldn't have any issues. Yeah, but I don't know. We've been having some technical difficulties. I was having some before I got on, so I'm hoping that we don't have any more.
I apologize if I'm jumping in. So
Nope.
I guess you were asking about this sketch or something.
Right. So what do you have?
Well, it was like the big reveal, and then like the internet said, no, not doing it. But anyway, I'm going to do it again.
Way to create the excitement there, Christie.
I know, right? So what it is that I basically I talked to Phil about doing a fan art for Tragedy, right? And I thought, well, I can at least show him what I'm doing. So it's not quite done yet as I was fiddling with that, but it's a sketch of Tragedy and Death is
wow.
Oh, it's coming out nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks great.
Yeah, so I'm going to do my watercolors on it for the first time. I got some new watercolors, so I'm going to test it out. So I'm thinking I'm probably wanting to, I don't know if we're doing bidding, but.
Yeah. What do you want to start it at?
Let's start at 40 because this is like extra work, watercolors and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
And I can send a scan to you, Phil.
I would love, thank you. I would love, it's always flattering to me that anybody would want to take the time to draw the character I created. It's humbling, it's flattering. And I always appreciate every single person. And I wish I could make every one of them a cover, but you know what? Sometimes I look at them and I say, hey, what do you want for that? I'll pay you for it and make it a cover. Because fan art comes in, and sometimes it's just too hard to pass up. It's just beautiful, and I just appreciate that you would even want to do that. So,
well, I mean, it's a good character, and it's kind of funny because like Korean people and the Irish like share a lot in history in the terms of people fucking with us. So it's sort of like, you know, we have that anger going on. It's actually, apparently I learned it recently. It's called Juan. So yeah, there we
really?
go.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
you know, I tell people, I'm Irish, and we drink and we fight, and I don't drink.
Well, I mean, I'm known as Demon Bitch, so there you go. I don't know what the fuck that's about.
So
Phil,
wow,
with
that
this,
looks beautiful.
Phil, with the Kickstarter that you have coming on, do you have anything special going on in there?
Yeah, so not only forgive me, I feel bad plugging sometimes, but not only do I have this standard edition, which is 220 pages, there are other tiers. I'm publishing other people's IPs, and there's two 10-page stories that will be added to another edition, and I have a tragedy manga that is 40 pages that when you read the book the normal Western way and you get to the end, it'll be the manga going back the traditional Japanese way.
Wow.
And that is a 280 page book. And you can get and it will have the manga cover on the back because again, Japanese people go the opposite way. So it'll be the Western book, reading it like this, and then when you get to the end, it's the Japanese book going back the other way.
Going back the other way.
So is it black and white then? Or is it different?
Yes, it's gray tones. It's gray tones.
It's like I forgot what it is, like where you cut the screen. I forgot. It's not Pantone. It's something similar, but I forget what it's called.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd have to ask Kenny Calderon, who's the illustrator, who really did a beautiful, beautiful job on the pages. Very dynamic, very energetic. The movement is there. It's just fantastic. I'm excited.
I think we call them screen tones, Christie.
That's it. Yeah. It's something like that. It's been
we call them screen tones because that's what they would actually use for the when they're actually creating the actual film, but they also use it in the book, because it just expedited the process.
Yeah, I know he did the gray tones digitally, so that must be it.
Yeah, now, which is great because, when we had when I was back in Kyozen Studios back in the early 2000s, and we were producing comic books, and some of it was manga, we would actually create those screen tones digitally, right? Because it was easier to maneuver, in Photoshop and whatnot. Yeah, so it was a whole lot easier than actually using the screen tones and then trying to rub it and get it on there. That made it a whole lot easier. We could control the size and the effect and twist it up a bit if we wanted to. Vary the size as well. So that was
because he did pages traditional pencil and ink, and then the gray tones were digitally added, and it looks fantastic. I mean, I don't read manga, although I think I should start because they just seem to be more interesting at this point, and thinking outside the box, more character driven. But I always appreciated and loved the manga style of art. But I don't like when they take the X-Men or Western characters and put them in a manga style because it's just culture shock. It's just weird, you know what I mean? But I love seeing true manga characters, and I don't remember the names, but I know there's different styles of manga art. There's the Cowboy Bebop style, which is what my book is. And then there's a style that's kind of like Sailor Moon, where they have the big eyes and they're more innocent looking, so I love all of them.
So JD is saying that the 1990s Captain America is better than any Marvel Studio film.
Someone was trying to tell them that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not. It's been a while. I remember parts of that movie that I really liked, but I don't recall it as well. So I'd have to rewatch that.
Yeah, wasn't the Red Skull Italian in that because they were afraid to do a Nazi?
Yeah, I think so.
He was Italian. He was like the Gestapo or something instead.
Right.
But it's the same fucking shit. So I don't get that.
Yeah, exactly. They did the same thing. It's like if you made him Stalin-esque, in Russian, what's the difference?
Okay,
But
Stevie is saying that's right. It's called Zipatone and Letratone. Yeah, Zipatone was the one that we were familiar with. Yeah. Okay, to get those gray
oh,
Wait,
gray
so,
lines. Yeah.
so that means you have to rewrite the script for the manga format?
well, we added 10 pages, so I want to introduce the book to the manga crowd, so that's why it's basically the 2.0 version of the Western book. But yeah, we added 10 pages. We changed. It's totally redrawn. Camera angles, everything. Even the character designs are a little
Yeah.
different. Not for her and Breath of the Dragon, but like the other people, we changed up the characters a little bit, and reworked the background. So it's the same story told in a different way.
Wow.
And you know, because some people they don't want Western books, they want manga. Well, now they get to enjoy tragedy in the style that they love, and some people like both, and they want to see the compare and contrast. You can do that because the campaign will also have the manga individually. So if you want to just get the standard trade paperback and they get the manga single issue, you can do that. I represent artists, so we also have original art tiers, you know, from those artists. Um, and we have a characters design tier from one of the artists I represent. There's character designs with 3 revisions. So we're doing some different stuff on there to make it interesting because let's face it, campaigns on crowdfunding, especially Kickstarter, have decreased for everybody across the board. I mean, even the big names like Polito and them are not doing what they did. So we want to offer things that are interesting. I have nothing against swag, but me personally, trading cards, coins, they all get at the bottom of a drawer.
Yeah.
So I want to do stuff that whether it's reading or art that you can hang up,
Yes.
you know, things that you can appreciate even 10 years from now that won't be buried in the bottom of a drawer.
Yes.
You know, that's not to knock anybody. It's just I'm an art, as you can see, and comic fan, and that's where I kind of keep it.
How about, anyway, by the way, the manga idea is brilliant. I've never seen
Thank
anybody do that. And I think you definitely have a new market because the manga consumer here is huge now. So that is amazing, by the way. And the second, how about this just a crazy idea? Instead of swag, because I agree with you, right? It's like we just put on the bottom of the drawer. With all that money, you could maybe make notebooks with the art of a character, each character, so people can actually use the bloody notebook like this size small,
Oh wow, that's a pretty cool
That's
idea.
Isn't that a good idea?
That's a good idea.
And then
Yeah.
you have your comic copyright, whatever,
Your
at
cover
the back,
in there.
saying, "Hey, this is me." Da 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 da.
That is
And then
pretty
each one
damn
has a
cool.
character name. Like,
Yeah, I like that.
don't you think that's fucking? I'm sorry. Don't you think that's brilliant?
Yeah, I do. That's really
Because
great.
I would want that. I would want that.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
would want that. Yeah.
Yeah, right? Because it's like a throwaway notebook. Hey, no pressure, man. No pressure. Like, no, even like I don't know what's cheaper, but like a sticky pad or sticky notepad thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, but maybe that's more expensive. But at least
You could,
You can even do the with the spiral that you just flip
Yeah.
up and
the spiral thing. Yeah, even that.
or
the
maybe
cheapest
even,
way.
or maybe even a sketchbook, a little maybe
Yeah.
5x7
So
sketchbook.
That's
forget
a
the
great
spiral
idea.
freaking thing. It's so much money printing, blah blah blah.
I
Give
know.
people, like even a postcard, it's like, yeah, it's nice, but where do I put it? You put it in the drawer. But if you have a notebook, they can always use it, and then give it to their kids, and the kids will like all that stuff.
Yeah, I do like the
That's a
notebook
great
idea.
idea.
That's great marketing because wherever you take that, everybody's going to see it. And they can ask
Exactly.
about it,
Do I have your permission to use that idea?
Yeah, do it, and then let me know. Okay.
Well, who knows? Maybe I'll
I think
commission you. Maybe I'll commission you to do the cover for it. On
Woo!
it's your idea, right? You might as well cash in on it too.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Even just black and white, black and white is cheaper too, right? Black and white artwork of this notebooks.
Yeah, that'd be
but
cool.
I think if you're printing it that small, it'll be cheaper.
Is
enough
it?
already.
Maybe on the back page you could put red scent and we'll say the Assassin's Notebook.
Shut up. That's so embarrassing. But anyway, the thing is,
No, that's a cool looking character. I like it.
because come on, Phil, like sometimes when you come home, like I don't know, in our house they do that. Like realtors from God knows where they hang their names, and then you have a task to do this kind of notepad. They give it to you and say, "Hey, call me, blah blah. I'm a realtor." This or that. You can even do like on the top, just a little artwork, right? Oh my God, hey.
That's cool. I like that. That's a great idea. And it's different, like you said. Nobody else is doing that. I like to try to think of things that are different. Not the same old stuff. That's awesome, and it's useful.
I think your manga idea. I've never seen anybody do it. I think it's freaking brilliant. Just want to say again.
Thank you.
It's like, I don't know.
Mel muted you.
I don't know how you even came up with the idea, but it's amazing.
Well, I just, I'm always looking at look, I love comics and I do it because I love it. But at the same time, if I'm going to succeed as a publisher, there is the business side of it. And you want to reach as much of an audience as possible. And I just sat there and I look at manga sales. But what I looked at more was the passion manga readers have for the comics. And it reminded me of the passion we had in the Bronze and Silver Age of Western comics. It was new. It was exciting. We couldn't wait for the next thing to come out.
Yes.
We had a loyalty to it that was strong, and I found it charming. I found it relatable, and it rejuvenated my energy as an old man, because I'm not really big into what they're writing now and what they're doing. It's not written for me anymore. Yeah. It's written for other generations, but I also think it just isn't written well, and I don't think that's even a generational thing. It's just not written well, but that's my opinion.
It's fucking funny when they nerd rage about that shit too. They're like, "Oh, I'm like, fuck off."
But when I go into the stores that sell the manga volumes, I literally walk up to strangers and ask them if I could bother them for a second. And I show them the pages to my book and I say, "Get your opinion. And why do you read manga? And why do you enjoy manga?" And every one of them says because the character development, because the characters are relatable, because what they go through on a human level is just as interesting as the totally off the wall different story idea, Yes. And that's how I write my books. Characters that you can cheer for and root for. I mean, I come from the generation of Rocky. We screamed and cheered, man, when he was supposed to. They're going, stay down, and he gets up, and the music is there, and Apollo looks at him like,
the Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah, it's like, but we were inspired emotionally by characters back then. I don't think we are that much anymore, and that's just across the board. And I like to be inspired by the characters that we're reading, right? To be invested in them. And that's the kind of stuff that I write. And I said, you know what? If that's my idea, my style, and that's what people love about manga, let me try turning this into a manga, because I thought aesthetically she would look great as a manga too, so as a character. So we'll give it a shot. We'll see how it goes with issue 1, if it's a success, and we'll go from there.
Okay. All right, hold that thought. We're overdue to take a break, but that's fine. It just shows how exciting conversation that we're having here. We'll be right back with Phillip.
Did you know that every Experience show, including some exclusive content, streams on Twitch? Check it out, twitch.tv/the_EXP. Or just scan that QR code.
You just finished the last episode of your favorite new show, and you just have to talk about it. But all your friends are ghosting you because of that incident last week at the buffet. Oh, you know the one. What you did to that chowder. Ugh. Keeps me up at night. So what do? Join writer Dan Wickline as he breaks down all your favorite pop culture media. Whether it's a review of the latest nerdy TV show or a dive back into the history of your favorite comic characters, Dan's ready to discuss all the hottest topics live. Join the conversation as Dan live streams Tuesday through Thursday at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. The Dan Wickline Show on The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales. There's something for every imagination at your local comic shop. Visit ComicShopLocator.com to find a store near you.
Hey,
By the
welcome
way,
back to SketchUp. We have our special guest,
What's that?
Phillip Russert here, and we got Christie's drawing a tragedy, the tragedy character that.
looks fantastic.
Oh, there you go. And opening bid on that is $40.
Nice.
It is that looks like an 8.5 by 11.
8.5 by 11. Yeah.
8.5 by 11. Okay, and then we've got Arctic Catwoman that Mog did earlier. Okay, starting bid on this is 50. And if you want to claim her original character of Red Scent, that's on 8.5 by no, I'm sorry, 11 by 17. You can claim that for 150 in the comments. Now, before the break, we were talking about somewhat about the industry, and I have to agree. I agree with pretty much everything that Phil had said. I don't really care for the writing that's being done today.
No.
I try to get into it.
And Philip did something amazing because most people, whenever they talk about manga, even though they must have read it, they say, "Oh, like it's like a mystical thing," and they think it's a style. But Philip, you didn't say style. It's that the distinction between the comic, what makes it exciting, is because it's actually the story content, and you nailed it. Even though, ironically, you're saying you never read it. So, I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Yeah, I used to watch animes, but I never read mangas.
It's but to me, and it's probably not. I can't say it's straight across the board, but to me, there's a recognized pattern in the storytelling. You know, you've got your main character, and he's at like level 0.
You always say that.
Yeah, he's at level 0, and then he's got to go against an opponent that's like so much stronger.
Yeah.
Right. So he's got to attain some skills, and some by nook or cranny he does that, right? And he's able to overcome and beat this nemesis, right? Then you go into like season 2 or your second story arc, and another villain is introduced, and he's so much stronger than where he's at now. He's at level 1, and he's got to get to level 2. So there's that development that goes through there. You know, he starts feeling like, okay, God, I'm not strong enough. I can't do this. How can I do this? You know, but he finds the confidence and his strength, and he works somehow. He's able to level up to 2, right? And it kind of goes on and on and on like that. I can't say that it's all like that, but that seems to be a common pattern in the manga, and that's how they develop their characters.
What about comics? Don't they do the
Comics,
same?
they do. It's they don't take I don't think they show it.
Level up, like
These days, they seem to be tearing down characters, making them weaker. They're defeated, and someone else has to lift them up. That's not a hero to me. A hero wants to lay down, but doesn't. They
Yeah.
stand in the face of adversity and say, "Okay, what do you got?"
Or
That's
they make them all fucked up, and I don't really like that all the time.
Right.
Like, you have to make Superman all fucked up, and I'm like, stop
Thank
making
you.
him fucked up.
Thank
it's
you.
not a
Leave him
role model.
alone. Leave him alone. By the way, Stevie
not a-
B,
it's not a
I got a
role.
letters page, Stevie B.
Oh,
Letters page. Yeah.
Very
You
So
good.
we're gonna talk about that.
And that's what I was going to say, because Mog was talking to me about that during the break, and that was a great thing back then, is that you could open up like a Marvel book, and then Stan Lee would have his editorial
Soapbox.
page in the back, you know, his soapbox thing where he could address you and let you know like what's going on, and there was ways to get these things like Nuff Said and Excelsior, right? He was
Yeah.
interactive with the reader on a personal level, and that helped us to even appreciate that more, because I would soak up everything that was in that comic book. I would look at the ads. I ordered the silly sea monkeys.
Yeah.
Okay.
We did.
I
Oh, I got those
ordered
fucking
that
things.
little book that told you how to
Yeah.
get muscles. Okay.
Yeah. You know what's funny is I was going to do those ads and put them in the book as a retro, but I was afraid someone would sue me, so I didn't bother. But I
Yeah.
thought there would be a cool retro throw in there.
Yeah.
But you were talking about heroes before, and the way I write my books is I don't like the Spider-Man where they had the 3 Spider-Mans in the movie.
Yeah.
The Green Goblin is this badass villain, and at the end he beats him pretty easily. I always hate that.
Oh, me
Because
too.
if you can't beat somebody, you don't just all of a sudden you can't just all of a sudden beat them. So in this book, tragedy doesn't win every fight. There are people that she can't beat. and every time she goes up against him, she can't beat. Because
Oh, good.
I mean, this is why He-Man, as much as you love him, nostalgia is kind of a joke, because Skeletor always gets his ass handed to him, cackles, and runs off. A hero is only as good as the villain, because if the hero wins every time, how heroic is he? But if he gets his ass handed to him and there's a real threat and he's facing this uphill battle, he's a courageous hero. And that's why we love Empire Strikes Back. The bad guys won. They kicked their ass.
Oh.
It's the classic hero's journey, and that's what we want to see. And somehow this has been told many times over and over, and yet we can't get off of it. It's still what we want. Right? We want to see the underdog. We want to see the Cinderella overcome the obstacles and beat this and come out on top. And that the person that does come on top is a hero and is a good guy fighting for justice and for all of us. He's able to defend us and everything, we want that. I guess maybe it gives us a sense of security in our own lives as we escape into that world as well, giving us the confidence that, hey, you know what? It's possible. It gives us hope. It's the light at the end of the tunnel.
But also, like back those days, you guys were when you looked at comic, you guys were using that as like a role model, like inspired, like through adversity.
Mm-hmm.
It was something that you're like, oh, so this crap happened, but the hero overcame like this. So that's why you loved it. What is that?
I did buy the submarine. I forgot about it, but that was really cool.
But the manga and the comic, when they do that hero's journey arc, I know as cliche as it is, that's why it's still a role model and people still like them a lot.
Well, think about it. We need to be inspired. We need to be raising up to where Superman is, not bringing him down to our level, because we suck. And that's why we love heroes. They don't.
Well, the thing is that what I find immensely lazy is that Batman, okay, he has emotional and mental problems because of his trauma, right? We can relate to that. That's fine. That's Batman shit. But with Superman, he was always taught to be the better person. And that's actually kind of more of a struggle than, or just not as much, but people are fucking lazy and say, well, let's make him fucking emo and shit. I'm like, what is this shit? Like, I get it. It's like the little key things like, oh, okay, what differentiates between him and Superman, Clark Kent and Superman? Oh, okay, I think Ed Piskor had a drawing. It wasn't his, but it showed like how you draw Superman versus Clark Kent. And Superman, he had his chest puffed up and like this. And even though he looked the same as Clark Kent was kind of like stooped.
Right.
So it's like very little things that happen. And I kind of miss that sometimes in comics because they say, oh, let's just do this shit. And it's like, what about the nuances? And it's like, well, we make Superman stupid and is feebed out as Clark Kent. It's like, no. It's called an alter ego for a reason. Yes, Superman may have insecurities that he plays off of while being Clark Kent, but it's not that that's him.
Right.
He's Superman. He can be his real self as Superman.
And people don't understand the greatest asset about Superman is imagine we could do whatever we want and get away with it. Because we either do good things because of conscience or consequence. And if you aren't going to face any consequences, like the trolls on Facebook, you can get away with doing whatever you want. You're Superman. Nobody can stop you. Imagine how hard it is to stay on the right path and do the right thing when you could just do whatever the hell you wanted impulsively, if you were angry at that moment,
Yeah.
Who's to stop you?
Like with Zack Snyder's Superman, everybody's like, oh, it fucking sucks. But I will say that it did bring up this important point. Like when Clark Kent was being bullied as a teenager, you wanted to pop those guys in the face, but you didn't. And it's good that you didn't. But you could tell he was pissed. Like he wanted to kick the shit out of them, and he knew he could have.
Or the bar with the truck driver.
Yeah. Like he held back a lot, but it's just like, it's just like, how do you teach your kid not to be arrogant? Like they talk about, there's this one show called Brightburn that actually talks about that. Like, what if the kid turns out to be a piece of shit, instead of an actual good guy? But I mean, like the thing is, okay, what's the challenge of being an actual good guy here? Like that's the thing. It's like writers are getting kind of lazy about this shit, and I don't really like it.
I think
agree
what they're
with you.
trying to do is just trying to break them down, right, and then to try and
Yeah.
build them up. But
Just
I don't
fucking-
think. I think where the direction they've chosen to do that, it just isn't good because it offends a lot of the old timers that have been here, and that's why we're not buying. Or
Well, have you
interested in
noticed
stories that they're putting out now.
they're so into anti-heroes and gray area now that there are no heroes that are actually just heroes anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm not saying that everyone has to be Mr. Boy Scout. I mean, we need our Batmans and Punishers, sure, but leave Superman, Wonder Woman, and Captain America the hell alone. Leave them
Right.
alone. We need to aspire to be them, not bring them down to us. I say it all the time, but
Mhm.
people, they love the angry, like everybody's drawing Superman angry with the red laser eyes. It's like, come on, that's not him.
Well, that's only if you push him.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. It's like they make him out to be this fucking psycho now, and then it's like, don't you think there's room to show his representation of the dream? No, we already get enough ugliness. Like fucking that's Bruce Wayne right there. It's like he had a privileged life. Guess what fucking happened? That didn't protect him. We already have enough of that shit. That's like timeless. So it's like I just get a little annoyed with people or annoyed with things because of that. It's like stop being fucking lazy. Sorry, I'm like
Right.
being grumpy about that.
Okay, before I forget, 'cause
The most
we've been
basic
like promoting it. Okay, so we do have some giveaways, all right, and we've got a really, really big giveaway. Philip is putting in 8 of the comic books that he's written as a deluxe giveaway. If you can bring that up, JD. So if you can enter in #EXP SketchUp, that'll give you a chance to win that. We are also giving away another set of Demon Bitches charm and a sticker. You should still have that, JD. You can bring that up. If not, that's okay. But if you saw that from last week, they're pretty. Actually, I still have that here. I can show you. Okay, these are actually mine. Okay. That I personally got. So you can see that they're a very good size. You can see that.
Yeah, it's like that's the sticker's called Bad Hot Dogs, and the first charm is called Animu Demon.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, so they're pretty cute and colorful. Look good hanging on your phone or wherever you want to put them. Okay, so so #EXP SketchUp, that'll get you in the running. So I see we have Don and Steve in there as well. Actually, 2 Steves. You got Vendetta and B. So that's great to have you guys here. Okay, so going back to like what we were talking, it's because they were broken down, and we don't like when I read up on Wolverine, he's not as strong as what I remember reading back, like in the 90s. He's kind of lost it. It's and a lot of the characters are like that. So it makes it hard to read some of the things that are coming out now. In fact, I just can't read it at all. Even though I still pick up comics because I get supplied with them, and I try reading them, and I just can't. It's hard for me. And I know people are out there saying, "Well, this is a great story," and some of it is, but like with all the Batman stories that they've been putting out lately, it always starts off really good and everything. Then I get to the end of it, and it didn't work. It just petered out, and I'm trying to make sense of the story, and it just doesn't make sense at all.
It's not even DC, it's the BC now. It's all Batman. Batman is their biggest seller, and they got like 50 Batman titles. And at some point, how many stories can you do after 1,000-something issues of a character? You know, I know this, they would never do this because it would, they need to make money. But sometimes I think a hiatus from some of these characters would be good to rejuvenate interest again. Because, again, how many different stories can you tell over 60, 70 years and 1,000 issues? I mean, I don't know. It's just you can only reach a certain limit. Like at least Kirkman was smart with Invincible. He said, you know what? I've told my story, and even though sales are better than ever and people are jumping on board, it's time to call it quits because I've said everything I want to say. Where am I going to go with this? And Invincible, in my opinion, might very well be one of the best superhero books ever written. It starts goofy, but then it becomes fantastic. And that's true. The Simpsons did. But The Simpsons is different because they're in a whole world of their own where they can parody real life, they can parody politics, they can,
Oh yeah,
you
a
know,
lot of material there.
so there's always going to be more material for The Simpsons. But Batman, how many times can he fight the Joker, and how many times does the Joker get away, and how many times do you fight Two-Face? It's
Right.
there are certain limitations on these characters that something like The Simpsons won't have.
Right. Putting them in an Elseworld world isn't working either, because all you're doing is
Yeah.
just rehashing another Joker story somewhere else. Yeah, sure, you want to give him a different name, give him a different look and everything, but he's still the Joker. Yeah, so it is tiring. It's just nothing is really new. Nothing's getting rehashed. A lot of stories I believe that they're putting in now can be a whole lot better if they just took the time to really develop it and put some thought into it instead of rushing to get it out there and say, because we want to make the money, we want to cover the shelf. Yeah, sure, it looks great when I walk into the comic book store and there's a whole freaking rack filled with Batman.
You know
But
what
I'm
else
not
hurts
picking it
comics
up.
writing? They write. You know what else hurts comics writing? People don't realize this. They write specifically for arcs to do trade paperbacks.
Yeah.
And when you're stifled as a writer you have to fit it all into these 5 issues. It's hard to write a compelling story because you're going by page count, not by content, and that happens a lot too, which is difficult.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
Wow. There's a
Oh.
difference between a story arc and a story content.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's the thing, is that instead of like putting so many titles out there, you just keep it all in the same line like they had before. Just put the stories out one at a time. Take your time putting it out. Or it kept us wanting, right? You have that desire to want more instead of like flooding it out there. And now we're not like sure what to get. Everybody still has a certain amount of money that they can spend. Okay, I don't want to. If I was buying comic books like I did before, I wouldn't want to spend it all on Batman,
Right.
unless maybe that's the only thing that I'm collecting. But me as a collector, as I was back then, I was buying a varied amount of titles across the board. Okay? I like variety. And and if you're having a flood of just one character out there, that's not cutting it for me.
Right.
But well, that's what they've done. Hopefully, they can get it better. As far as like closing the story, and I think that's what manga does better than the Western side, is that they'll do one and it'll end. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Except for One Piece, we're still trying to figure out what's going on.
in a practical way, like the readers, especially when I first came to America, and this is a common question, anybody who wants to start comic, they ask like, where do I start? It's so daunting when you go into a comic book store. You realize what? Batman 1 is like since 19, what?
39, 38.
39?
Yeah.
I have to go back to that to read it.
Maybe 40. Yeah.
It's like, where do I begin? But with manga, it's very easy. There's a beginning,
Right.
and you can track it.
Well, you know what's funny too is another thing that's hurt comics is all the rebooting at number 1, and the reason why they did that is because they didn't want to spend the money and time on the research to be done. Like, remember when we read comics, they'd have the little yellow box with an asterisk, and if something happened, they say refer to issue, blah blah blah, so you could go back to that issue. But the problem is when you start getting into 800 and 1,000 issues, you have to hire people to do all that research and say, where did this happen? What was it? It's too hard to keep track of. So they started rebooting number 1s, and that started pissing off readers because they also then they cheated and did the legacy numbers so they could sit there and say Batman 1000. Whoa, you rebooted him like 5 times, or X-Men. Now all of a sudden it's the anniversary, X-Men issue 600, but you rebooted it 50 times, and we don't even know which reboot goes in what order at this point. And
I really hated that. I really hated that.
Yeah, I know it's tough. Like I would have understood if they did a hard reboot to start at number 1 again and start thinking, but then stay with that and do another 300, 400, 500 issues. But this every 12 issues you're starting at number 1, it turns people off, most people off. I think.
Yeah. Now their excuse is that they're trying to get more new readers. Okay.
It's not happening though, and they're not
It's
coming.
not happening.
If I could spend $12.99 on Netflix and watch 30 movies, why would I spend $5 on a book and wait till next month for the next story?
Yeah. I totally agree.
Those movie people are not moving over to the readers, and here's the problem: they alienated all of us, all long-time readers. There was the bubble burst in the 90s, right? Because of gimmicks and holographic covers and all this stuff.
Yeah.
What saved the comics industry was old-time readers like us stuck around.
Yep.
The problem is the bubble's about to burst again because of all this variant covers and holographic covers and all these different types of covers. But the old-time readers are not going to be here to bail them out when the bubble bursts again. But you know what's going to happen? The indie scene is going to fill the void, I think, because it's new. And manga is just going to grow more and more, and manga is going to have it's in its renaissance right now in America.
Mm-hmm.
I think with manga, what's great is that like they just kind of don't give a crap and they want to tell the story how it is.
Right.
Like
no agenda.
Like the Dragon Ball Z, it was funny. They were giving him shit. It's like, why do you only have like Asian characters on there? It's like he said, "Fuck off." Like that was his reply, and I'm like, that's great because in Japan they don't give a shit anymore. It's like
that's right. You're right about that. And I even read an article from the president of Japan who actually backs that up. So they have the support of not just their industry but their country that says, hey, look, we're going to do this the way we want. We don't have to go woke about it, and this is what we do.
Well, this is the funny thing. People will argue about the woke. Well, X-Men was social injustice and stuff. I'm like, yeah, there's a difference between. But there's also a difference between presenting the story in a certain climate of the time and telling you what to think about that climate of the time. Like, to me, if you know what I feel as the writer about any political or socio-political subject, I failed you as a writer. My opinion doesn't mean shit. It doesn't matter. I'm here to entertain you. That's it. So I can set the stage of our current events, but I'm not there to tell you and preach to you what you should feel is the right or wrong thing. I'm just there to put out a story, and that's the backdrop. But when you're like X-Men Gold for a while there, and I'm not saying anything, you're right or wrong. I don't believe in left or right politics. I think it's all the same crap. But you could tell that the writer was anti the president of the time because they were purposely putting things in there. It's like, I don't care what you think about any given president, whether it's a president I like or hate. I don't give a shit. Get your politics out of my books and just write some good stories. And like the Xavier and the Magneto, was it a sign of the times as far as racial discrimination? Yes, it was. But did you feel like you're being beat over the head by it? No. Did you feel like they were telling you, you have to think this or believe in this politician or that, or you're a bad person? No, you didn't. It didn't do that. It didn't. There's a difference between using your comic as a soapbox and a pulpit and using it as a backdrop, the environment as a backdrop for a compelling story.
All right. Hold that thought. We'll be right back.
Did you know that every experience show, including some exclusive content, streams on Twitch? Check it out. Twitch.tv/the_EXP. Or just scan that QR code.
Comic Collectibles is a pretty straightforward show. You got Rex here, he sells the comics, and you got Rocket Robbie, he knows about the comics. And finally, John, no one really knows what John does. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a great guy, but he just keeps showing up. Come to think of it, I don't even really know how he gets in here. Anyway, awesome comics, rare books, rarer signatures, slabbed books, and amazing cover sketches by Ken Hazer and others. Simple formula, you want the comics, you buy the comics. To sum up, Rex sells the comics, Robbie knows the comics, and John, who might possibly be a ghost. I mean, seriously, has anyone ever seen him show up or leave? Comic Collectibles with Rex and John, Mondays from 6 to 8 Eastern on The Experience. Comic Culture and Sales.
What if Hans Gruber from Die Hard had to battle the Joker from Batman the Animated Series in a dance battle? Or who would win in a race between Baby from Baby Driver and Snidely Whiplash? If Austin Powers and Shrek found themselves in a hot dog eating contest, who would emerge victorious? These are the questions we talk about on Nerd Killer Warfare. Debate the most absurd questions you've ever heard in popular culture. Register now by scanning the QR code or visiting bit.ly/EXP casting. Programming on the EXP is made possible by viewers like you, or your local comic shop, or that Kickstarter you backed, or the publisher you like, or comic industry professionals who want to share a message with the world. Really, anyone who wants to advertise with us can. If you're interested in seeing a product you know and love, or are creating, or are publishing, or are involved with, advertised here on The Experience, and having your message shared with our viewers, please reach out by scanning the QR code below or visiting our website and using the contact form.
Welcome back to Sketch Up with our special guest, Phillip Russert. We've been talking comics and we've been talking tragedy as well. If you can give a chance, click on that link for tragedy. Take a look at it. He's got that coming up real soon. Hit that notification button. And you hit that follow button for the experience as well, so we can build up our own experience. Right. And what's special about that trade paperback, he's got an editor's page on there. All right, so you don't see that very often. Okay, so check into that. We've also got Christie here with us, who's got her own Demon Bitch Kickstarter as well. Where are you standing with that, Christie?
Let's take a look right now. It's taking a moment to load. I had issues earlier. So let's see. I am at 2,275 at 65 backers.
Okay, so you've actually more than doubled from the last time that we saw that last week. So that's great. That's doing good. So if you guys can go to that Kickstarter and click on that as well. Right. And Bill, you've got another Kickstarter coming up as well?
Me? Well, I'm working on another Kickstarter. I partnered with another one of Long Ago and Far Away, #2. And yeah, there you go. And yeah, it's like I'm helping them out. I'm helped them out with some of the graphics, but I've like promoted them a little bit because Chris Mancini, he's a really cool guy. And he actually went in for an unforeseen operation. So like I kind of threw it in there to help him. And also I've been involved with Robert Krisich's Turner Family Terrors. And that is, it's actually essentially like a very dysfunctional family, but with supernatural powers and their adventures, and they handle aliens and ghosts. And they always bicker and yell at each other. I actually read some of the comic when I did the pinup. It was really fucking funny. And like, I swear to God, the girl that I drew was kind of modeled after his daughter, I think. And yeah, he liked it so much, he took that pinup and made it into a variant cover. So there you go on that. So cool. Yeah.
And Bill, you have a Diary of Dread horror magazine coming out as well?
Yeah, launching on Halloween. There's a black and white and a color version. These are thick anthology books. And basically, you know, true horror fans like black and white, but color is for the average reader. I wrote 5 full-length horror stories in here, in the vein of the old EC Comics, Tales from the Crypt and Creep Show. Reviews have been fantastic. I like to go to people like Christie, for example. I should start sending her stuff, who are honest with you, who will let you know straight up this is garbage or it's good, because you don't get better by people who are just going to say what they think you want to hear. But reviews have been great. We have a Tom Mandrake cover and interview in it. A 10-page story from Charles Santino, who wrote Conan from Marvel in the 90s. He has a story going in there. And I'm very excited about that. Yeah. And I'm going to be doing this is kind of came out of nowhere. a family member of mine has got a life-threatening illness, and I had written a graphic novel, 110 pages, called Papa, and they would love to see the book in print while it's possible. So I'm going to do a campaign pretty soon on it. I posted the covers today. It's been reviewed by about 12 people, and every one of them says it's like a Silver Age, Bronze Age tale of, and it's written really well, and it's emotional, and it's family, and everybody's been loving it. Some people have said it's the best thing I've written yet. I'll leave that for readers to decide, not for me. I don't say. So I'm going to be putting that out. The problem is, it's a 110-page book, and to pay artists fairly, I'm going to be like 15 grand for this book to be made. And being that it doesn't have boobs on it, it's going to be tough to get 15 grand on a Kickstarter for a book called Papa. So I'm going to implore people to please come out and support. It really is for a good cause. It would mean a lot to myself and my family member to see this in their hands while it's possible.
When were you thinking of launching it?
Probably November after Diary of Dread. I want to hopefully make some money, to lower the goal from Diary of Dread and Tragedy, so I can lower that goal. But I'm going to be launching it probably November, and because there's 5 chapters, I'm going to have 5 different artists working on it at the same time, so they literally get the book done in a month.
Okay. Right. When you later on, just send me a message on what your actual date is, and maybe what I can have you do is just pop up on the show for a couple minutes or so for you to promote the book, and hopefully we can give it a little jump in your Kickstarter to help you reach that goal. Okay.
Can you tell us the premise of the story?
It's an
Anthology? Oh, sorry.
I kind of can. I'm trying to figure out a good way to market it without ruining it, because there's a big twist that nobody sees coming in the book. But it centers the human side of it. Is there's this older man, he's a Vietnam vet, and him and his son, he lives with his son and his daughter-in-law and his granddaughter, and him and the granddaughter are close, but him and the son are not. And there's a reason for that, which the son has resentment, and they explore. An external threat to the family arises, and it's a story about the sacrifices a father makes for his family. Look, we all know how amazing mothers are, right? Men will never know what it is to give birth and have that nurturing element. But how often do we realize the sacrifices that men make quietly? And men often make a lot of quiet sacrifices that the children never know or the family never realizes, but he's protecting you, he's taking care of you, and he's sacrificing his own happiness and well-being to make sure you have a good life. And those are some of the themes in the story. But again, it is a comic book. So there are some villains and there are some things that happen. And I promise you, when you get to the last page of chapter 1, you're going to be like, holy shit. And that's what everybody's reaction was.
Wow. Interesting. Very interesting.
Finally, some manly story.
Okay.
And again, it's written, everybody tells me it's written like a really, really good Silver Age or Bronze Age comic. Like, back when heroes were heroes and villains were villains, it wasn't gray area. We had heroes to admire. And I've been told that I'm very good at writing dialogue that's realistic. Again, this is what I'm told. What I'll tell everybody is, don't take my word for it. Don't take their word for it. Buy one of my books, read it, and you tell me.
I like that.
Right.
It's like your philosophy is kind of like, I'll present all these, and you think for yourself.
Right. And if you want to get a set of Phil's books, you can put in #EXP SketchUp in the comments, and that will qualify you to get 8 of his books.
Yep.
Right, for free. Okay.
Yes, I will send you the 8 books for free.
There you go.
First 5 issues of Tragedy, my issue of Dynamics, my prose book, The Devil's in the Details, and issue 1 of Withered.
That is a bargain of a deal there for free. And then on top of it, we'll have a second drawing of the Demon Witch Charm and sticker that you see on the screen on there. So get that in, #EXP SketchUp, and that will get you qualified. And we are still looking for an opening bid on Christie's Tragedy.
Here, I'll show it to you.
Okay, this is what she has so far.
Oh wow,
Okay, that's coming
that's
out.
so cool with the Grim Reaper. Very
Wow.
nice.
That is
Two
cool.
characters. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't think there was going to be a second one, so that's even better.
The story
Two
content.
for the price of one.
I
Yeah.
love how he's embracing her. That's very cool.
I
The
know.
Well, I mean,
composition is so good.
Thank you.
Okay,
It's just
then
more
Mog-
like kind of lover, but it's like fucked up because when you think about it, he's like kind of like trying to grab her by the neck from the back.
Mhm.
Vicious. Okay. And then for Mog, if you want to get this Arctic Cat one, we originally had this price at 80, but we are accepting a bid of 50 right now. And then you can also claim her original character of
Things upside down.
Red Scent.
Thank you for putting the links in, by the way.
Okay, there you go. Claim that for 150 if you want that. Okay.
Mel colored it.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. I colored it.
His first
Okay.
artwork.
Oh,
It's not my
cool.
first, but
Third-
not my first. Okay,
number
but
three. Number three.
I think it's more than that, but who's counting? Okay. Ilya was saying, who's are some of the artists represented on your wall of art behind you?
I
Phil?
know. I want to know.
So there's a lot. A lot. Dave, like the bigger names are Philip Tan, David Finch, Neil Adams, Will Spertasio. I also have a lot of indie people who are awesome. Tom Rainey and Rags Morales and God, there's so many. V. Ken Marion and Livio Romandelli and Marat Michaels and
A lot.
yeah.
I'm a-
I mean, yeah.
yeah, I'm a fan of Philip Tan as well.
Oh, I love his work.
art, yeah.
Wow. You have a Neil Adams original?
Well, I do jam pieces, and yeah, he did a storm on one of my jams for me.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, there you go. And yeah, I do like that. I also like some of the older guys that are like Mike Plug, of course, writes in Michael Kaluta.
Mhm.
I do like a lot of guys that are from the 70s. Still admire them a lot. I also like Bo Hampton as well. He does the kind of like the pulp art style, still retro style, which because I love let's say Edgar Rice Burroughs. So I like
Yeah.
seeing things from Tarzan, Princess of Mars, and stuff like that.
It's funny you say that because those old Edgar Rice Burroughs. I wanted a similar art style in my book Withered, because I really loved that old,
Yeah,
that old
Wow.
style.
yeah.
And you know what's funny is this here is a original painted background of the creation of Adam, and the angels are digitally colored because the book is a digitally colored book. But the only panel that the artist painted the background was that one,
Oh, okay.
Wow.
and that's an original painting, and it's so cool. Forgive me, I'm soliciting, but this is not a typical angel versus demon story. Basically, time is not a construct of the human mind. It is a malevolent, omnipotent being that has imprisoned God and is feeding off of our life energy over decades. And that's why we grow old, we wither, and we die, because this thing is
Wow.
feeding off of us. This is why the world is imperfect. Everybody wonders why things suck, because God's not in charge. And we're not in utopia because this thing is in charge, and we're cattle to it. And
That's so interesting. It's
and
actually-
Satan, who is the first of the fallen, is its right-hand man, but he has his own plans.
Yeah,
that
wow.
you know what, your story content is actually similar to the religious belief in Hinduism.
Really?
It's a cycle. Yeah. So there's
Oh, I
the
didn't know that.
golden age, and then there's like the middle, I put the man age, and then there's the demon age.
Really?
The last cycle, the gods left because it was the coming of the demon age, and we're living in that age.
Oh, wow.
Literally, according to their cycle, God did leave. All the high thinking, all those good people, good beings, they left.
Oh
So
wow.
it's the demon now. So we're gonna be stuck in it for at least like I think 100,000 years more.
Oh
I
jeez.
don't know what the date.
Well, the good news is I'll be long dead.
There's a specific cycle. There's a specific number. I don't know how they calculate the number.
Oh, wow.
They did a calculated number for each cycle. So yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
and Joshua Brightson is the protagonist, and he's some creepy stuff there. He's struggling with the fact that in my short story prose book, Withered Starts, and it talks about Joshua Brightson, and Joshua's on his deathbed, and long story short, Archangel Michael, before he dies, he knights him and he becomes an angel. So it continues in this ongoing series, and basically Joshua is struggling with missing his family and adapting to being an angel. And like I said before, I don't like that good guys just all of a sudden they can do everything and all of a sudden they can beat everybody. He goes up in this book against a lesser demon, and he can't beat it. It's a demon. It's angry, it's nasty, it's faster, it's ruthless. He's not used to that. He was a 91-year-old man dying in a deathbed, and now all of a sudden he's an angel in a war. He's not just going to kick a demon's ass. It's not going to happen. So
Yes.
I like to try to write things realistically like that. But what motivates him as he's about to die is flashbacks of his family. And if he dies, he can't be there to fight and get God back so that they can live in utopia.
Wow, that's beautiful. A
You know,
91-year-old
so-
man. I love that.
Yeah, I just think I think a lot of books miss heart. They don't have heart anymore,
Yeah, I agree.
you know?
But, yeah.
It's just me. But, I ask you, pick it up, give it a try. If you don't like it, you'll have toilet paper for a week. Just make sure your butt's not wet when you wipe it, or you're going to have the imprint of my comic pages on your ass.
Hey, that's great for marketing.
That's a great pitch.
Oh, if they're mooning people.
You can read the story on my butt.
Yeah.
However, I watch a
That's
lot
another
of
level of goatsy.
Yeah.
okay. I watch a lot of Alone and Naked and Afraid, and the people there, they actually said, you think that the leaves are good for wiping, but actually they're not. So this guy showed like a perfect round kind of circular stone, and it kind of has the right roughage and smoothness, and says this is the best toilet paper. It's actually
I heard that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it actually will pull off
Yeah,
everything and
the
clean you and
scent off.
exfoliate you, and there
Yeah.
you go. We've really dropped the whole show here.
I'm
We're
still
talking
a
about wiping
firm-
our ass with a rock.
I'm still a firm believer of the 3 seashells.
What's
Oh
that?
god, that one.
3 seashells?
What's that?
That's from
Demolition.
Man movie.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Why? What did he do?
The way how they would clean themselves is 3 seashells. They didn't-
Yeah, it's like which one is which.
Yeah.
I gotta watch that.
Okay, you guys want to see it? I'm just about done.
Yay! Let's watch. Let's look at
All
it.
right, let's see what you got so far.
Oh,
Whoa.
wow.
Wow.
Okay, there you go.
That
A
is so
tragedy
cool.
cover with the Grim Reaper.
Look at
That is we're still looking for an opening bid of $40. Christie's
No.
done with it, so if you'd like to bid on that, you may do so in the comments.
I
And
love
don't
that
forget
it's
to
kind
put
of a
in
romanticized-
EXP SketchUp,
Yeah,
and that will get you into the drawing for the giveaways today, and they are big.
I agree with you, Bill. The style kind of has a very vintage European style.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that's a nice one.
Yeah,
But
I'm
I-
just finishing up the inking on that. Sorry.
What, okay,
That
no,
looks
go ahead. What was it?
Oh, I was just like finishing up the inking on it. Yeah, it's just like I like it romanticized because like when you think about it, like assassins, at least like the most intense Japanese assassins, they always eroticize. Like even the samurai, even though they were not assassins, they romanticized and eroticized death a lot of the time. It was
Sure.
like this attractive thing. So it's like,
Right.
even though I mean, I'm not trying to make tragedy into an erotic type of thing, but it's just
No,
like
it's
there's always that dance.
it's also metaphorical to your closest relationship is the possibility of death with what you do, because you could die at any moment in any day. So
Yeah.
that's the closest relationship she has. She's guarded by everything, but she's kind of seeking death every day. So that's really metaphorical. That's really cool.
Yeah, the metaphorical level is deep.
Very cool.
Okay, and
I can't even draw a straight stick figure. Otherwise, I would join in. But I'm sorry.
I thought you did draw a little bit. No,
Yeah.
no, not
Dude, I can't even draw a straight stick figure with a ruler. Just, I'm terrible.
I've been trying to draw for over 20 years. Okay, and it was actually Philip Tan that actually tried to get me started. And because I would like sit with him and he'd be drawing, and then I'd finish my work, and he says, "Okay, why don't you draw?" I said, "I don't feel like it," but then he got me drawing, and it kind of like started. So I've been like off and on with drawing for over 20 years now.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, Philip Tan's work on Ronin 2 for Frank Miller Presents.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God. I mean, there's not much story to it as far as the writing, but every page is this gorgeous splash page. It's just beautiful.
I think Philip, because he was coming off of DC, and he had to. There was still, even though it was his style, there was a certain style that he still had to try and carry forward with DC.
Yeah.
But coming off of that, he just had the freedom to just like, hey, do what you want,
Yeah.
and he took off with it.
But
Oh, yeah.
Don't you agree? The Frank Miller is unique in a way where he's literally a visual storyteller. So
Yeah.
even in his script, I bet you when you get it, it's not much prose. It's about, okay, I understand, you do your thing. It's because you have to
Right.
visually tell the story.
Yeah, I haven't talked to Philip about that yet, but it'll be interesting. But that's always a topic that we tend to talk about. In fact, we even talked about it on the last show. The relationship between a writer and an artist is different. It varies from each one. It's never there's no set pattern or process or whatever, because it's you've got to figure out like where who has control. Okay, it's going to be the editor's story, the writer's story. Of course, they're the ones that are going to have the most control, and then the artist has some say in it. And sometimes the writer, editor is very, very strict, and then sometimes they're very loose. I've seen scripts where they have one to three sentences per page, and it's up to artists to figure everything out, lay out, do the research, and all that. And then, of course, when we talk about like guys like Alan Moore, who's so detailed that he tells you what size the panel is going to be,
Right.
what's exactly in the panel, what color the elements are in there. There's
See,
nothing for the artist to think about.
And that's the thing is you gotta be able to let go of the leash a little, because artists will give you the best work if you let them be a little free. The whole point of being an artist is to be a creator as well. Give them some freedom.
Yes.
I'm in New York. Technically now I live in Long Island, but I'm in New York.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
They were asking if I was in Northeast.
Ah, okay.
I thought you were like living in Tennessee or something.
No, I'm New York born and bred, and I moved out to Long Island when I had my first kid.
Nice.
And so what shows have you got left for the year, Phil? Let everybody know.
What shows?
Yeah, what cons do you have left?
Conventions. I've been just doing locals lately because I'm trying to build the online more, because when I go to shows, I want people to be looking for me. Because a lot of the bigger shows, with the economy being tough, people are budgeting their money for the big names, and there's not much left for us little guys. So instead of investing all that money into that, I want to invest it into better books and online presence first. So I'm going to be doing some local shows here in Long Island and New York for the rest of the year, and then I may get back to some bigger ones next year. Oh, you're from Long Island?
Yeah, that's right. Stevie B's he's a fellow Long Islander.
What?
Yeah, we sent all that stuff. In fact, I'm getting ready to send a package to him this week, so you can expect that coming out to you.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Next week, Stevie.
Okay.
Very cool.
Is
You
that-
ready? It's done.
Okay, it's the final look. Dun, dun,
Oh, wow.
dun. Oh, she took up that full page.
Yeah, I
Still
love that
looking for
composition.
a $40 bid on that. Okay, $40. That's going cheap. Okay.
I love the composition. Oh, Jersey's not far. I'll be in Jersey Sunday at a comic show in Wayne.
Wait, hey, Ilya's from Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's-
she was just saying.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah. Is that weather there like kind of cool now because it got suddenly chilly here?
It was 74 at the height of temperature today, but most of the day was like 66, 68, and I think tomorrow's gonna be going down to like 68.
Wow.
I'm right near the water too, so it gets colder.
All right, we're going to have to take a break, so hang on to that, and we will be right back.
Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time.
Imagine being at a convention and going to an interview panel that's just for you. No bustling crowds, no hours-long lines, just you, the moderator, and your favorite comic book creators. Well, this is pretty much that. Miss Jen sits down every week with 2 comic book creators for a live stream interview about their latest work, and you can ask them whatever you want. It's Talking Shop, Mondays at 5 Eastern on The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales.
You know how when you go to Comic-Con, after Comic-Con, you go to the hotel bar, and there's a whole bunch of people playing music and dancing, and you've got Pikachu and Lara Croft Tomb Raider doing the cha-cha slide just down from Deadpool and Batman and Wonder Woman? That's every Saturday night over on the Experience Twitch channel. Join Taji Beats for the EXP Dance Party, exclusively on Twitch, twitch.tv/the_EXP. Go follow the Experience on TikTok at @the_EXP1 or scan the QR code on the screen. Our TikTok is like everywhere else we are, except you only have to deal with us for a minute. Seems like a win-win to me.
Welcome back to SketchUp with our special guest, Phillip Russert. We've been talking tragedy and all kinds of topics under the comic cloud here. And let's take one more look at your drawing there, Christie, for tragedy.
All right.
There you go. We're still looking for an opening bid on that for 40. Okay, so if you want that, just put that into the comments. And we have Mog's Antarctic Catwoman. Looking for an opening bid of 50 on that. And if you want to claim the red cent, that is 150. Claim that in the comments.
Can I offer?
What's that?
Can I offer for free, if you buy Christie's art, I will offer you a free PDF to Tragedy 1 if you buy Christie's art.
Damn,
Double bonus there. Okay, there you go. Yeah, so that makes that $40 more.
Actually, for all 3 pieces, if you do Mogs as well, I'll offer you a free PDF. The artists work hard. They're really talented. I'm happy to support. Thanks for having me on the show. So you'll get a free PDF for Tragedy 1 with the Ian Churchill cover attached if you buy any of their pieces today.
What a deal! That you just popped it all in there. Thank you very much for that.
That's a good idea. We should do that like for the next ones too.
Yeah, that is a good idea. If we can like talk to people and see if they want to do that, it's a good.
And it's a 30-page comic, 30 pages of story, so you're getting a good size comic there. And this is the Ian Churchill cover. That's the Ian Churchill cover that you'll get in the digital PDF too. So you
That
get
is
amazing art from them, and you'll get this book.
that is actually so funny because I actually use that image on the cover as reference for her costume.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's funny.
And just so you know, Ricardo Silva knocks the art out of the park. It's a professional book.
Who did-
It's amazing.
Who did the art cover on that one?
The cover, this is Ian Churchill.
Oh, that's okay. Whoa,
So
Yeah.
you've
good.
got some,
Yeah,
you've got
this is-
some good named artists doing your art.
Well, I run my own conventions, and I've made friends along the way, and plus being an art collector. So between those two things, I've made a lot of friends with big names over the years, and I'm very fortunate that they like to work with me, and I appreciate them. And there you go.
Oh, fantastic,
I
fantastic.
think I got another idea.
Uh-huh.
I think from now on, anybody that was on our show, like especially who wants to promote their book, we should offer a PDF so that people can get a sample of it,
Well,
and then with a bundle kind of.
well, we can't force them, but we can
Oh,
say
that's
that they
true.
want to do that.
Yeah.
We can't give their stuff away for
Well,
that.
when we're done, anybody who ever has me on a show, I offer them as a gift to thank you. My books as well, because you don't have to invite me on, but you do, and I appreciate you, and you help promote me, and you don't get anything out of it, doing the show, and there's a lot that goes into it. So I always like to give back and say thank you, and that includes the fans. I've given away foils covers as a thank you to fans, just because, this is my character would be just stuck in my head if it wasn't for the fact that Ricardo put it on paper and people want to buy it. It just blows me away that anybody would want to buy my books, and I'm grateful for it. So I try to give back as much as I can.
Okay.
And you've got a good artist there, Ricardo, because he's been around quite a long time. He's a regular artist on your book. He's also a regular artist on
Sister
Mercy.
Mary. Sister Mercy, yeah.
And if you haven't seen his work, you should really check it out. He's done some really, really fantastic artwork.
He's also
His
in Diamond
commissions
Thread.
Yeah, that the artwork there.
and his commissions, they're not that expensive.
No, and he's available for covers and commission work right now. But that's like his artwork. He's phenomenal. He's from the Ed Bennis Studios previous, so
Right.
the guy knows how to draw.
Can I see the manga sample? Do you have it?
I only have it digitally right now. I can put it up. I can send it to you in the chat if you want to see it.
Yeah, or after the show, that's fine. We can
Yeah.
take a again after. Yeah.
But either way, how about instead of then the whole issue? How about the first 6 pages,
Or yeah, just samples or
like
whatever. Okay.
PDF for free, so people can get a taste of it, like, and then.
Okay, Ilya, here. This is a picture of Mog's work. Okay, so
It's a
that's
Catwoman,
Art,
dressed
yeah.
warm,
we call her Arctic Catwoman. Okay,
snow-
she's out in the Arctic.
snow
Yeah.
leopard print.
Yeah, that's,
snow leopards.
We're looking for a $50 bid on that, and then this is her original character. That's called Red Scent.
Yes,
She's
I like that
obviously she's an assassin.
and
It's an
now
11 by 17.
now colored it.
It is colored by me. Okay. And she's called Red Scent because once you smell the red scent, you're pretty much
Yeah.
dead.
And Steve, I think Vendetta, he got it. He made a lot of jokes about it.
Yeah. Yeah. But okay, so there you have that. Don't forget to click on the links that we posted in the comments to help Christie bump up her demon
Yes,
bitch
please.
and help her get to 100%. Click
Well,
on
also the thing is that Mog has a print in the Demon Bitch as well.
Oh yeah,
Oh, nice.
that's right.
Is it-
God,
What's it
I'll have to
about?
show
Tell
that.
us.
I'll see if I can show that next time. We've got
Yeah.
like 2 versions of that Mog did.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll put those up for bid as well. We've got the originals on that.
So are you 50%? Did you reach 50%, Christy?
What is it?
50%? Did
On
you
your
reach?
Kickstarter?
I am at, let's see, I'm right now at, hold on, let me just look at the thing. It kicked me out when I had like all these internet problems and stuff. So hold on, give me just a minute. I think I'm at, let's see, my dashboard. we are looking at 37% right now.
Nice.
That's good. 40%. But there's a comment there. Mel, you're signing the colored art.
Have I signed anything yet?
No, you never signed
Okay.
it.
Yeah, I don't. I don't really like to sign it, but for you, Ilya, if you want it, yeah, I'll go ahead and sign it.
If you do, I will. Is it okay? I'll touch it up even more. So you'll have Mog and Mel color.
Oh, she's gonna. Oh, wow. I don't know.
Yeah, so I can correct it.
That's kind of like an insult to me.
I won't do it.
It's
Then
like
I won't do
she's
it.
correcting my coloring.
Yeah,
I
and
won't do it. That was-
also the thing is that I get the signed prints also from my Kickstarter too. I know it's Philip, but just as an aside, Mel and Mog have a print on there too. Well, Mog does, not Mel.
Right.
If
right.
you ever,
Cool.
I'm not coloring that one.
okay, if you ever then
No.
meet him in New Jersey, Ilya, he'll give you a big wet kiss.
Well, I do want to. We haven't been out to the East Coast yet. Okay. The closest we've got. Oh, I guess in a way we have, because we've done MegaCon in Orlando a few times already, but we haven't been back since 2021. That was the last time that we did.
Okay.
So your beard is looking extra beard.
Yeah, I
Oh,
haven't
no.
shaved. It's been 2 days. I haven't shaved, so
Wait, did
I'm
you
looking like
sleep at
Santa
all?
Claus.
No, did you sleep at all?
I'm
Were you
sorry?
were you like in a 12-hour shift? Did you sleep at all?
I haven't slept in 10 years. I get
What?
like 3 hours of sleep a night. That's why I went gray. I was a redhead. I average like 3 hours of sleep a night.
Do you take drugs for it?
No.
Gee.
Why not?
My mind never shuts off. I just can't sleep. I
I
work fine.
understand that.
Yeah.
You don't have to sleep when you can, right? Like you sleep, and when you wake up, you have to do the thing and then go back to sleep whenever it is.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is. If I tried to go to bed, I would just lay there and think about all the things I want to do and all the things I still need to accomplish and what my list is for tomorrow and this and that, and I just can't shut off. And I've been like that for most of my life, all my life, but I'm worse in the last 10 years than ever. I mean, at one point I was running conventions, repping, doing the publishing, doing my day job as a nurse. I'm a father of 2 little children. I'm a husband. I own a home. I don't know.
It's a lot. Yeah,
I just
it's a
keep,
lot.
but it doesn't feel like a lot to me. Sometimes it doesn't feel like enough.
Let her.
You just kind
Let
of
her
do it.
rip. That's cool. That's a good tagline.
Steve, like Vendetta, he gets me. He gets me.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good line.
okay.
He gets the character. He gets the
We could probably do a short thing on that.
character. Steve, you should write a short story. Red Sand. Like a gag.
But yeah, I feel you on that, Phil, because I'm the same way. That's the things that mainly keeps me up at night, that stops
Yeah.
me from falling asleep,
It's like
is that my gears are just constantly
it's like,
thinking.
it's like
and
you have a to-do list.
right,
and
part
it's
of it
like-
is it's not part of it is worrying. Part of it is just trying to make sure that I have everything in place. Part of it is planning. It's all kinds of things that are like running through my head every night. But so now it's actually gotten better, and
Yeah, you chilled a lot.
and thank goodness, because I was getting tired of getting like 3-4 hours of sleep. So now I'm getting a little more like 6, 7, sometimes 8,
Yeah,
sometimes 10.
it was literally bad or you die, remember?
Yeah, pretty
It was
much.
bad. We were in the ER and the doctor was like, dude. So he had to force himself to,
And I did it without drinking alcohol.
de-stress. Is
There
it
you
is that
go.
stress? It's not stress, right? It's something different.
I don't know. I think it is. It is stress. It is stress. Yeah. Yes, it is 11 by 17, Ilya. Okay.
Mm.
But yeah, it's it's just like a bunch of things that are going on, and just trying to make sure. And I think that's just like my character type, is that I want to make sure that I have all the resources I need or possibly can get to accomplish things that I want to get done. Right. So it's and just trying to make sure that I've got a plan A, B, and C, for whatever it is.
What?
Um,
Ilya's compliments?
Wow. Okay. Thank you for very much for that,
He's a
Ilya.
fan of you?
we'll include a special COA with that as well.
And I'll send the PDF for Tragedy 1.
PDF for Tragedy 1 right there. Okay. Yeah. So
for me, it's like
I want to thank you for that, Ilya, because now I'm going to have to pick up all those books from Phil, purchase those myself, because now that we've had a chance to talk to him and find out like what his story's about, now I'm excited I want to read it. Right.
Especially the dad story about how like
Papa.
Yeah.
That one, that one, like it's like, oh, I feel it because it's like hearing about your story, and then the second one is intriguing is the angel because I love I love stories.
She's into angels.
Yeah,
and
but
things
not
like that,
not only that, you hit the spot for me when you put like old people. I love when old people becomes main characters. A 91-year-old man. I mean, that's like the best. So.
Yeah, again, it's just trying to write human stories, but going back to what you were saying about not shutting off, when I got really sick and I faced my mortality 2 years ago and approaching 50, if I'm to be honest, I looked back at all the wasted years of self-doubt and lack of direction, not knowing what I wanted with my life, and being unhappy, thinking how shitty the world is. I wasted so much time and energy. And I think after being sick and it being so serious, I realized that you either get busy living or you get busy dying. And some people think they're living, but they're not. They're just going through the motions, and I don't want to do that. So I just want to give everything I've got into the things that I love and I'm passionate about, my family and creating. And it energizes me and excites me to where I self-motivate, and I don't stop. I'm nonstop energy because I love this, and I love creating, and I love being an example for my children, because at the end of the day, no matter what, I'm showing them that you can embrace life and have what you want if you just work hard and don't listen to the people that tell you can't. So I just don't shut down.
But you said that ever since you were a kid, you had so much thoughts in your head, like to-do list, what to do, everything, right? So how is that related to, you said how until 51 you didn't?
Because I never had the confidence to do anything about it. There's so many people in the world that daydream and they don't do. It's not be big, it's do big. It's not, like the Disney logo is dream big, princess. I tell my kids, don't you dare dream big. You be big, you do big. Dreaming is for people that accomplish nothing. Do something. Don't think about it, do it. And I spent so many years believing that I wasn't capable, or it was too hard, or life is against you. And I had this stupid mentality that I can't. And I wasted time. And then I woke up and said, oh, cut the crap, man. It's the only person that's responsible for me is me. So get up and stop making excuses and make the life you want, or shut the hell up. And that's just what I do.
So
I agree with you, because we're everybody's told, hey, dream big, dream, have your dream and accomplish it.
Goal is big or something, right?
But they're not taking the steps to achieve that dream, that goal.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They think all they got to do is dream it, wish it, and it will come true.
Right.
It doesn't work that way. You've got to work for it, and you've got to work hard.
Shit.
And you're gonna get knocked down. You're gonna get knocked down a lot. You can't let that keep you down. Right? Every time that happens, you've got to get up.
My wife marvels, because if something goes wrong, I don't get depressed. I get pissed. And I go, how am I going to change this? Because I'm not accepting this. And I find a way to change it. And she just looks at me, she says, how the hell do you do that? I go, because I don't waste time feeling sorry for myself. It's a wasted energy, and it's just a drug that brings you down. It's like when you get depressed, you wear it like a blanket, right? You shut off all the lights and you play sad music and you revel in feeling sad. You wear it like a comfortable blanket, and you start to grow where you actually be comfortable with it and kind of in some sick way like it, because it's what you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I
You've
agree
got to
with you.
fight that. Open the windows, let the sun in, put on positive music, and say, "Screw this! I'm not going to self-pity." And no pity parties for me.
Well,
Get
you've got
up
to
and
fight
do
it
something.
too. Yeah, you've definitely got to fight that too. It's like what I tell everybody too is, wow, what if they'll come up and they'll say, wow, what a fantastic job you have. I wish I had that. And I say, be careful, okay? Because what you see is only 5%. 5%, it's fun. Love doing this stuff. 95% of the time, that's where I got to kick myself out of bed and tell myself I got to work, right?
Yeah.
And that's the part that's not fun, okay?
Yeah.
5% is fun, 95 is not, okay? But it's the 95 that gets me to really enjoy that 5%,
And the truth is, it's what you chose. You're making it happen. You're not sitting there talking about why you can't. You're telling me how you can.
Right,
Huh?
right.
How you can.
How you can. It's not um, what you want. It's what are you going to do to get what you want? What are you going to do
Right.
to get there, right? So yeah, people will come up and they'll say, hey, well, I want to be an artist. Well, what are you doing to do that? Right now, nothing.
Right.
Why is that?
Okay. So the way I hear everything, Bill, you're a late bloomer. You're
Mhm.
awesome.
Oh, we're talking. You can show that it's 8.5 by 11 area.
Do it like the porn, the strip, just slowly up and
Okay, take a good look
like
at the whip. Okay,
tease.
it's a long whip. Okay.
The size of that is 8.5.
All right. So anyway,
What did I miss?
okay. All right.
Mel was
So
showing porn.
all right,
You missed
don't
Mel
don't
showing
forget.
porn.
Okay, we've got about a few minutes, so we'll go a little bit more, and then we'll do the drawing and stuff like that.
Sure,
Okay.
sure.
But yeah,
But
doing more than dreaming is definitely a step, but it could be very daunting because I know how it is. I would just also add like just even doing that one page or like one something a day is going to create a mountain at the end. Isn't there a biblical saying something about mustard seed? I think there's a mustard seed story in the Bible.
I don't remember that one.
No, but I know what you mean. You're creating momentum, right? You can't have a fire if you don't look to make a spark, and you've got to make the spark. And sometimes no one's igniting it for you. You got to self-motivate. If you need external motivation, you have a problem. You need to motivate yourself because the world doesn't owe you a damn thing. I motivate myself every day. I might be inspired at times by other people, but when it comes to day by day, I motivate me. I'm ready to go. Let's go. And there are some days where I don't want to get up, but like the heroes, like Superman, like Christie said, that I grew up with, they taught me get up, shut up, and get up.
I think what I realized is it's not even internal or external motivation. You just have to put even every emotion away and just gotta do it. And that's what I found out. Like I was like tricked into thinking, oh, I have to wait something internally. Like even like externally it might not help happen, but even internally. But even that's I feel like a dangerous road to go trapped. It's beyond emotions. Kind of like guys are very good at this. What compartmentalize, right? You push the
Yeah.
emotion away, you cut it, and just do the thing. That's what you got to do if you're dedicated to anything. It's not. It's beyond emotion. I think something.
Well, we all get affected by emotions, but it's
Right.
learning how to control that and not let it impact you. Sometimes you just want to shut it completely away. Sometimes you want to let it. Matthew something. Yeah, you want to let it get to you. Feel it, take it, as advice or whatever, and adjust to it if you need to. But it's just how we have to learn how to deal with it because it is part of us, and we're all humans. Maybe not all of us will feel the same thing from that same situation, but it will have an impact. So
Well-
it's 8:55 right now.
Ilya, I had a question.
Okay.
What was the pattern? It's a snow leopard
Oh,
print.
it's like a camo print.
No, it's not camel toe. No, I'm just kidding. It's
No, it's like camouflage print.
camel, but I studied the snow leopard because Arctic.
Yeah. So what she's saying is that she copied the pattern of the snow leopard and put it on there. So it's kind of like a snow leopard camo pattern on there.
Well, I mean,
But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no. I was just like thinking of what we were talking about earlier, but I didn't want to. It's been a bit of a lag. Like my internet has been kind of on and off, which is very annoying. But,
It's your magnetic personality.
right? I
Yeah.
know.
It's too magnetic.
I like how that fan is like right above your head. It's just like if you stand up, it's just gonna chop it right off. It's so close.
It's like one of those propeller hats.
Yeah, a giant propeller hat.
Yeah, well, it's like the angelic thing. You have like "be not afraid," like an actual angel, like.
There you go.
But
All right, so we're gonna do the drawing. If you still have a little time to get that #EXP sketch up in there, and we'll do the first drawing. Let's do the charm and the sticker, the demon bitch sticker.
got it.
And we have.
It's so cute. So
There you
cute.
It's like a holofoil too. The charm.
Right. And we have.
That'd be funny if it was Steve again.
That's awesome.
Okay, we'll
Woo!
figure out who that is there. R6 Tofu Assassin. Okay.
But it's funny because Stevie B said, "Be fruitful and multiply." Stevie 920. He wrote he has his own quote, "Be fruitful." And I
Oh,
think
man.
Phil should have his own 923. Don't dream big, do big.
Finally, I'm back. Jeez, I hated
Okay.
being minimized on that. Yeah, well, that's good. That'd be funny if Stevie won it again. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, dude must love tofu. Okay, so that's great.
It's like assassins of tofu.
Okay, and all right, let's go ahead and do the big drawing
All right.
for 8 comics from
Wow.
Mr. Phillip Russert. All
Woo.
5 issues of Tragedy
Free giveaway.
included in that. Dun dun dun.
You put your name in there.
Don Johnson, Mr. Miami Vice himself.
Don Johnson. This is so cool.
I want to thank everybody for participating in that. It's always fun when we roll the wheel on that. And I want to thank everybody for coming on the show today. We had a great time. Really got into some topics here, Philip, so thank you for that.
Sorry, I'm a passionate guy.
Yeah. And Christie, thanks again for coming on the
Thank
show and displaying your black cat there. And
Yeah.
stay tuned. Next week, we will have Mr. Bill Mouse, along with his editor-in-chief, Thomas Hardy, I think.
Don't hurt you.
Doherty, right, there you go. We'll have both of them on the air next week live, and we'll be talking Nero, of course. That is a comic book that has been around for quite a bit of time, since the 90s. So we'll get into that along with what their plans are for the future of the character. Okay, and don't forget, check out Phil's Kickstarter there, along with Christie's as well, and help them reach their goals. Okay, and if you want to get in touch with Phil, how can they get in touch with you, Phil, if they want to place orders on your books?
Yeah.
www.philboentertainment.com, Philbo. The reason is I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan and I have hobbit feet, so my wife called me Philbo. But anyway, so you can go there, and I'm on Instagram and Facebook under Phil Russert, or you can go to Philbo Publishing, which is on Instagram and Facebook, or Legendary Illustrations, which is my art repping. I do want to say real quick, that offer for Christie, if you buy that piece of art from her, even if it's tomorrow, Sunday, whenever, I will give you a free PDF to Tragedy 1. Just Christie will reach out to me and let me know who to send it to. So support Christie, buy that art, and go support her Kickstarter, please. She's one of the good ones. She tells you straight up how it is. You got to trust the people that are honest with you. And those are the people we have to support in this industry, the ones that aren't fake. So go support our Kickstarter, please.
That's actually one of the most common things we hear about Christie,
Thank you.
that she does tell you everything straight up, and she's not afraid to.
Yeah,
Right,
straight
so,
shooter. Straight shooter.
And Phil picked up on that right away. So yeah, definitely give her your support, guys, along with Phil as well. And Phil, when just send me a message when you have that launch date, and we'll
Thank
get
you.
you back on here to pop in here again to promote that book for you. All right, thanks again, everyone, for joining us. Hope to see you all next week. Okay.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye.
Do you remember what it was like when you were a little kid and you got a letter in the mail? Now imagine that letter was filled with information about your favorite shows, pop culture questions, links to things you're going to want to see later, and even sneak peeks at upcoming programming here on The Experience. That's what the EXP mailing list is. Every week, we send you sneak peeks, information, and all of the relevant links for all of the shows you want to see. Sign up now on our website or scan the QR code that's on your screen right now.